tell you this story, I'll have to start from the very beginning. See, I am from a lineage or a bloodline of warriors and warlords. So back in the days before religion, before you know, before everything, slavery and all those things, there lived a man called Babarake, who is like my great 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 grandfather. He lived in the 1600s, and he was a warlord. It was a war mercenary. So he used to fight for the liberation of villages and towns. And he used to live amongst the people of Elisha, and he fought valiantly, and he was gifted a land called Igongo, um, based on his kindness and what he did for the people of Elisha. The woman king at the time, called Yeyewaye, was the one that gifted him the land. And Babaraka did a lot of great and mighty things in his life, which you know made him like a martyr. And also, he did not die, neither was he buried. He commanded the floor to open, and he entered into the floor, like into the ground, and where this that point is in existence in the village of Igongon, where people come from different parts of the world to worship, the seventh month of every year. So last year I had to be in a position where I had to, defend myself, defend my business, defend my identity. But it was not really about myself. It was about me having to defend others from being bullied and being, harassed by somebody. Those that know the story. So I think it was at that moment that I kind of, put myself in the position of my ancestors, like where they where they were, where they had to fight, where they had to protect other people. So I think that was where I kind of, started my transitioning. You see, as Yoruba people, as the African people, we have embedded in our DNA our heritage and our culture. Many of us we slip through it because, of maybe our lifestyle and all this, but there are some of us that life takes down unexpected paths, and we have to, like, remember, like our DNA remembers, our soul remembers um our ancestors. I think that was the point where I kind of, transitioned. And yes, I entered into a trance for 7 days and for 7 nights. I did not eat, I did not sleep, I did not do anything. I was just in this trance like state of reminder. And let's say in that trance, I was in another realm completely. So people that saw this happen understood it. He said this situation could go two ways. It could actually, get you into a position where they call you Yahweh in church. Or if you have the kind of, strong bloodline or lineage that I do, it makes you Yanifa. Iyawoli and Yanifa are the same. It's just, how do I put it? The I would like to say religion. I'll just say that then there's the religion and then there's the culture. So there's a culture part of it where, we become a Yanifa the way we used to be before religion and, Christianity, Islam. We used to be that way. Then in the Christianity line, you become maybe like, a pastor, Mrs. or a prophetess or this or this or that. It is the same thing. There's no difference. I'm telling you this because I'm standing in that position. So as Africans and Yoruba people, we have forgotten our heritage so much that many of us even know where we come from. Personally, we used to think maybe we are from Malaysia because, most of my grandfather, great grandfather, my dad, everybody grew up, knowing Malaysia as their home. So they used to claim Malaysia, but we really found out that we are actually not from Malaysia, we are from Ngongo. That's why I'm saying that many of us don't even know exactly where we are from. If this had not happened, I would not have even known exactly where I'm from. I have not even been to Malaysia since I was like 6 years old. So we've all lost touch with home. Now I understand the reason why, the Igbos and the Yorubas always go, I mean the Igbos and the Hausas and then all of that, tribes always go home. Now I've come to appreciate that, like, home is very important. You get closer to your roots. You get to, understand where you're from. You get to know a lot of things. You're not lost. So many of us Yoruba people are lost because we've all traveled abroad. Our children are, they have grown up in a different country. They don't even know where they are from. They can't even speak their language. And then we are losing them because we have very rich in culture. Our Yoruba tradition has spread to, so many countries, and these countries are actually using our orishas to tell stories back to us, the original owners. So when last year, like I said, I got into this trance, and I came out of the trance, and people that understood the pattern said, "This is not what you think it is. This is a calling." And then, initially I was, getting ready to be taken to prayer city because I was in the trance for 7 days and 7 nights, and only my family can be able to explain to you in depth what's in their high see. So, as a Christian, we were getting ready to go to church, but it then came out like, okay, this is actually not a church situation. Like, they had to ask my dad, "Do you know anything about Ifa or anything? Do you know anything?" My dad said no. But along the line, after doing some investigations, we then found out that we're actually from the Ifa lineage. Our bloodline, our real line, away from Christianity that was you know given to us. Without Christianity, we were Ifa priests and priestesses back you know in the olden days, and that was our culture, that was our tradition. So let me say that the way the Yoruba culture is, or the Yoruba bloodline is like a house, a very big house. And in this house, there are many children. And the children in this house have a very loving mother. And the mother catered for the children. Let's say the children are like 100. In this house, they were happy, they were fine. Then someday, some strangers came and then took 70 of her children away. So a woman that used to have 100 children ended up having just 30 children. Of course, there's no woman that will be happy with such things. And then these people that took these children away made these children theirs, killed some of our children, did a lot, enslaved them, bullied them, killed them, mutilated them. There's no mother that would see or feel that will not be in pain. So then for many, many years, these children were taken away by these strangers up to the point where they even forgot their roots. They forgot the mother. They did not even remember her name. So this period, especially what I've been seeing or the pattern I've been noticing on Instagram and TikTok and just some things that I come across, it's like so many people are getting these callings, so many people are waking up in a different way, and we are feeling different. We're starting to ask questions. We're starting to look away from the norm. We're starting to see, like, some cracks in some things that are being told to us. And I think we as Africans, especially as Yoruba people, the fact that we did not write down our tradition really made it very easy for our tradition to be forgotten. We do oral tradition. We pass down things from our mouth to, we tell it as a story, as folklore. I think this really, really affected and made it very easy for our culture to be demonized. I personally, I was in that position where, I demonized the Yoruba culture because I did not understand this. Because, of course, in talking about Koyon Leyomo, you guys, what you are taught that you know. So, and then there is the issue of Nollywood, always, putting out these very scary things, and then I thought maybe that was how it is. So, um, if I bless my Oluwo, he had to go through a lot. It was not easy trying to convince me, like, a chronic Christian, to then see things differently. Will I say that I've never heard it before? That maybe there is Ifa in our lineage. Over the course of my life, from childhood to adulthood, I'd heard it at different times. See, I am a prayer warrior, so I go to church and I go to Orioke most especially. Kind of person I like to go to Orioke, like Afadura Jagu. So different Orioke that I've been to, Orioke Bashiri, Bashiri, Orioke Remo, and everything. Like, I got to get people like single me out and say, Auntie Kilewa Shembi, Daddy Inko, Ifali Inko. And I'm like, we don't have Ifa. I said, no, you have Ifa. Go back and ask your dad. So over the course of my life, for like, 15 years, I mean, like 15 times, I've heard it at different times, different churches. Oh. I never played mine to it because I thought maybe they were just saying gibberish. I mean, I didn't know anything about Ifa. So, me of all people, like that was like a me of all people situation. Like, are you joking? How? So, when this whole thing happened, the family, God bless everyone, rallied around me and then they started, paying attention. I will not say paying attention, I said they started investigating and looking into the matter and then a lot of things started unraveling up until the point where, I'm sitting down here right now. So you also asked me, how did this affect my family? I said, my family, we're good. My family is family. you know. My reality is also theirs in different ways. So for my family, I think this situation actually brought us closer. Like we became very close. Like prior to that, we used to have a lot of misunderstandings, but this period kind of, made us very tight bond. Friendships. I would say that I lost a lot of friends, colleagues, and all that in the process, but they did not understand it. I felt offended when some of them did not understand me and they were calling me crazy. I felt very offended, especially for the fact that the situation that I was trying to, speak out about was something that affected us collectively. So I felt very offended when people that I'd even gone to meet initially were the first people that came up with the whole she's gone cuckoo in the health situation. That was very offensive, and yes, I had to cut ties with so many of my friends that were of that opinion because I felt like as friends, no matter what the situation was, we're supposed to actually stick together. I think maybe because of my own personality, as much as I ran around then trying to get help from people, if someone had come to me at that time to seek help, I would have helped. Maybe that was actually why I was more pained because I felt like, oh, this before this situation actually escalated to this point, I had already run around over 30 of my of my friends and colleagues had already run around trying to get attention, but nobody paid any attention to me until I had to then stand up for myself and then defend myself to the fullest. Now instead of them to like understand my plight, that oh, she's just trying to like defend herself, because if nobody was going to defend me, then I mean, if nobody did it, then I had to. But instead of them to then see what I was trying to do, they resulted to calling me crazy, and I found that very very offensive, and I had to like unfriend so many people. Like I had to stay away, and then some of my colleagues that that I had run to, that I was even actively asking for help, that decided to shun me or not, I decided to like let them be too. So in terms of friendship, I lost a lot of friends, but in the process, I made the most amazing friends along the line. People that understood me, people that aligned with me, people that stood up for me, people that fought for me, people that had their arms wrapped around me when I needed it. I was very down because I felt so alone. I felt like the pressure of the whole situation was lying on my shoulder for no reason. It was like an intellectual property theft situation, and the intellectual property was rightfully mine, but I did not know at the time that I was actually still on an intellectual property, so I was careless with it. But then it then became something that my entire industry was like had free range with. So somebody was trying to bully me out of it and claim just he just bullied me over the period of 9 months for no reason. And during those period, I did try to ask for help. I did try to involve my other colleagues, but nobody paid the attention. So I then had to stand up for myself. So in that process, like I said, I lost a lot of friends, and then I gained a whole lot more friends. So that's number one. How has this affected me as a Christian? I say that's actually drawn me closer to God. It has actually helped me to be more intentional about the choices that I make, because now I understand the importance of iwapele and iwariri. You are pele in the sense that whatever it is that you do today is going to affect you, and it doesn't even only it might not even only affect you, it can actually affect your children. So I am learning to draw closer to God, to make better choices, to think before I act, to be careful what I do today. You get what about Sheleni, Ashesile Folani. So yeah, so how does it affect my Christian faith? No, it actually drew me closer to God. Prior to this, I did not used to go to church. Like I said, I'm more of like a prayer warrior. I did not like the politics of church, but I think now I'm starting to know how to separate or how do I put it? I'm starting to learn how to compartmentalize. So I follow the teachings of Christ, and I just keep my ways, plain. I don't get too involved in things that I don't understand. I just I worship God, I sing my praises and worship, and I I listen to the teachings of Christ, and then I just stay. So about my Christian faith, how has this affected my love life? Well, I was in a relationship for 10 years, in my Janet element. So after all this happened, my then partner said, "Oh, he did not understand it. To him, it was voodoo. To him, it was something demonic," and we broke up. So it affected my relationship that way. But of course, God is God all by himself. So a lot of things has happened still. So how has this affected my fashion sense? Well, everything is the same except the fact that now I can no longer wear lots of colors. I can only wear white because my lineage is from the Ifa Obatala lineage. So this white beads represents Obatala. So I have the ring. I don't have it on right now. My yellow and white ring. So the white one is the Obatala. The yellow one is the Oshu. So this is Ifa beads. So this Ifa beads is, let's just call the babalawos, physicists and mathematicians and chemists, like philosophers. So it's like studying the philosophy and the purpose of the Ifa system. It's actually a system. It's just told in the Yoruba language. So it is not a voodoo thing. That's number two. And then, how has it been for me to transition as an Ifa priestess? I'll say that it's been an amazing journey. Like I said, I did not take this lying down. I'm a very, coming from a line of warrior, so I'm someone that I'm a very fierce person. So I did not take this lightly. And like I said, my Oluwo, I showed out flames. At some point, he was like, of all the people, why him? Like, dealing with me was not easy, but with time, I started, calming down. I started, listening, and I saw, and then I started embedding the Wakale culture, and I think that's how I got here now. So, yeah, my wardrobe has changed to white. I can only wear white, especially in public. That's number one. Number two, I think this has really opened me up in ways like prior to this, you would never see me in front of the camera, you would never see me speaking to the camera. So I think this has really changed my life in the sense that, now I am more, I have been putting myself out there, I've been standing, I've been trying to, to explain, and I never used to be this. So this actually ended up being a good thing for me because I'm learning to express myself more. So yes, that one too. So, how has this affected my business? I am very thankful for my clients. My clients have been the most amazing. They understand. They rallied around me. They saw everything that happened. And we are Yoruba people. We would not say that we don't know our culture. We know of Ifa. We know of Isheshe. We just started to follow religion, and they decided to abandon our truth. So, our truth. Sorry. So let me just say that it was not something strange to anybody because nobody can say that, oh, I've never heard about Ifa, or I don't know anything about Oshun or Batala. No, we all know. We understand. We all know. We all just decided to run away from home and then follow somebody else's religion. I am a Yoruba woman, so naturally, Oshun, Oya, and places and things like that should be able to to resonate with because this is my culture. If you ask me where Idioya is, where Idi Odo is, where Chongo Tedo is, I know where it is. I can always find my way there because it is my locality. If you ask me where Nazareth is or Israel is, I don't know. I have to find my way there. Like I will have to. You understand? If you say so, what I'm saying is that religion and culture and spiritual beliefs is about relatability, what you can relate with in your local environment. I know that it's a part of Quran that actually mentions it by saying that messengers are sent to different people of different culture to explain to them in their language. So these are the ways that these orishas were sent to us to explain to us in our language for us to be able to understand as Yoruba people. So I thank my clients very dearly for understanding, and this hasn't affected my business in any way. Initially, I thought this was actually going to, like, take me down the rabbit hole and, destroy everything, but it's been amazing, and it has not, affected my business. And I am so grateful for everybody that has stood by me through this journey. So, and let me just say that this has just been like the most peaceful I've ever been in my life. This has actually been um, the most beautiful. I think now this has drawn me closer to nature. I'm actually a nature lover, but I never really took my time to really, really try hard to find nature. But now I think I am drawn more to farming. I'm drawn more to, creating and preserving life through farming. I'm interested in livestock. I'm interested in farming. I'm just interested in being outdoors to feel the sun on my face, to touch the earth, to put my legs in water, to just, sit down and meditate. So I do a lot of, holy prayers. I spend a lot of, time reflecting. The moment I get a free time out of work, I want to be outside. I'm looking for where nature is. I want to read a book by the stream, and, so I kind of, I found so much peace. So that too. And then if you want to ask me, like, is it demonic? As a matter of fact, no, it is absolutely not demonic. It is very self-explanatory. You get to understand a share that everything has, and you get to understand the reason why some things are the way they are. So I am learning in the Ifa way. I'm still learning, and so far it's been beautiful. Let me say, I am a scaredy cat. I would not involve myself in something that is going to make me feel uncomfortable. So have I been uncomfortable since? Absolutely no. Let me just say that I've even found a community that is very, very real, community that does not, pretend, that does not hide, that are genuinely, kind-hearted, and really spirit-fed. People that, they act before they do. They believe in Iwapele, in good character, and Moluabi. So this is part of the things that has happened to me in recent times. So has this changed me from being me? No, I am still Janet. Actually, I have not even I have not changed my real self in any way. I have just added to it. I've added Iwapele. I've added suru and a lot of things to me. So it has added to me. It has not taken away from me. So I hope I'll be able to go into this. I'll be posting a video explaining the life of Babarake. So Babarake lived a very rich life, but um, there isn't much about him, and I am trying my best to remember my ancestors. So I'll be doing some pieces on Babarake. I'm putting it out. So I'll also be trying my best to talk about culture, heritage, and bloodline. So my name is Oluwaseun Janet. Thank you so much for watching this episode of my journey in the Isheshe line. Catch you in the next video. Have a great day and goodbye.